Today we're making a bucket hat. You can make it any size you want using any yarn you want, and I'll be making mine a small medium which will fit about a 50 to 55 centimeter head. And in the description below you can find the printable pattern, the free written pattern, and the materials I use. For this project I used about 70 grams of medium weight yarn, and this is Red Heart Super Saver brushed in the color cream. And here's the information on the label. And you can use any yarn you want, but if you want to follow my sizing guide, then you should use a medium weight yarn. And I'll also be using a 5.5mm hook, just what's recommended on the yarn label. Some scissors, a yarn needle, and a measuring tape is optional. First, we're going to start with the top of the hat. And for this part, you can start with a magic ring if you want, but I'll be showing you a different method. We're going to make a slip knot. And to make a slip knot, hold the yarn over your hand with the tail end at the bottom. Then hold the yarn with your thumb and make sure you have about this long under your thumb. Grab the top and wrap it around 2 fingers to form an X. And then you can hold it with your pinky. And then with your hook, we're going to go under one side of the X and then over and grab the other side and then pull it through, remove your fingers, and tighten the knot. And then we're going to chain 4. And to chain, yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. Again, yarn over and pull through. And then do 2 more for a total of 4. And once we have 4 chains, we're going to slip stitch to the first chain that we made. So we're going to go over, through the V of this chain, and we're also going to go under the loop in the back. So now we have the top loop of the V and the back loop of the chain. And we're going to yarn over and pull through, and then pull through the loop on our hook. And now we should have this ring for us to work into. And now we can start round 1. And to start every single new round, we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to do 12 double crochets into this ring. So to do a double crochet, yarn over, and then insert your hook into this ring, just through the center, then yarn over, pull through, and now we should have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that's our first double crochet. And again, to do another double crochet, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook back into that ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have 2 double crochets, and we're going to do that 10 more times until we have a total of 12 double crochets. So once you have a lot of double crochets in your ring, it might get hard to add more, so you can just scoot them over to the right, and then you have more space to add your last double crochets. And now I have 12 double crochets, and you can count them using the V's at the top of each double crochet, or by counting the posts. So there's 1 post, and then a second post, and then there should be 12 of them. And then we're going to grab the loose end that we left in the very beginning and pull on it to tighten the center. And then at the end of every single round, we're going to do a slip stitch to close the round. So first we're going to find the very first double crochet that we made this round, which is over here. and you can see our chain 2 that we made, and this one does not count as a double crochet. We're going to look for the post to the left of it right here, and then at the top you can see the V. So we're going to go under the V of that first stitch, then yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on our hook and tighten. And now our first round is finished. Now for our second round, again, every single round we're going to start with a chain 2. And for the second round, we're going to do an increase in every single stitch. So an increase is just 2 stitches into 1 stitch. So our first stitch is that same stitch that we just slip stitched to, which is right here at the base of our 2 chains. And first we're going to do a double crochet into this stitch. So go back under that V and do a double crochet. And then since we're doing an increase in every stitch, we're going to put our second double crochet back into that same stitch. Then we're going to move on to the next stitch, which is this one here. You can see the next V. And in this one, we're going to do our first double crochet. And then we'll do our second double crochet back into that same stitch. And we're going to do the same all the way around. And at the end, make sure that you don't count the slip stitch that we made as a stitch. You should have a total of 24 stitches in this round. And again, at the end of every round, we're going to slip stitch. So find the first stitch we made, this one here, go under the V at the top, and do a slip stitch by yarning over, pulling through, and pulling through the loop on our hook, and then tightening it. And there is our second round. And again, to start a new round, we're going to chain 2. And for this third round, we're going to increase in every second stitch. So that means our first stitch is going to have 1 double crochet, our second stitch is going to have 2 double crochets, and then the next one is going to have 1, and then 2, and then 1, and then 2. So let's do our first double crochet into that stitch we just slip stitched to. So there's 1, and in the next one we're going to do an increase, so we're going to do 2 into the second stitch. So there's 1, and then there's our second one into that stitch. Then we're going to repeat this pattern. So the next stitch is going to have just 1, and then the next is going to have 2. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. And as long as your stitch count was correct, and you do the pattern correctly, with an increase every second stitch, you're going to end up with an increase in the very last stitch. And at the end of this round, you should have a total of 36 stitches. And we'll slip stitch. And there is our third round. Now for round 4, we're going to chain 2. Instead of every second stitch, we're going to increase every third stitch. So let's do just 1 double crochet in the first 2 stitches. And then in the third stitch, we're going to do an increase. So 2 double crochets into that third stitch. And we're going to repeat that pattern. 1, 1, and then 2 into the third stitch. And again, as long as you did the pattern correctly, your last stitch should have an increase. And this fourth round should have a total of 48 stitches. We'll do a slip stitch. And there is round 4. In our fifth round, we're going to increase in every fourth stitch, And our 6th round, we're going to increase in every 5th stitch. And you should be able to see the pattern. Every new round is going to have another double crochet before the increase. And the less rounds you do will give you a smaller hat, and the more rounds you do will give you a bigger hat. For a size small medium, we're going to stop after we have 6 rounds. If you want a medium large, then you would do 7 rounds. So now I have 6 rounds, and it's about 16 centimeters for the diameter. So if you're using a different yarn or hook size, or your tension doesn't match mine, then just add as many rounds until you get 16 centimeters for the diameter if you want a small medium. And if you want a medium large, then you would go until you have a diameter of 18 centimeters. And once you're happy with the size, we can move on to doing the body of the hat, the middle part. And for the middle part, we're just doing rounds with no increases. So we're going to start by chaining 2, and then we're going to do just 1 double crochet into every single stitch. And we're just going to keep adding rounds with no increases until we get the height of the hat that we want. And you can try it on, and I stopped once the last round was about an inch above my eyebrows. So I've done 7 rounds of the body, and it's about 8 centimeters long. And you can add more rounds if you want to make the hat longer. And now we can start on the brim. So first we'll chain 2 as always. And if you did 6 rounds for the top of the hat like I did, we're going to increase in every 12th stitch. If you did a different number of rounds, then count the number of stitches in your last round, divide by 6, and in that many stitches, you're going to do an increase. So again, for a small medium, we're going to increase in every 12th stitch. So that means 1 double crochet into the first 11 stitches, and then in the 12th, we're going to do an increase. And we're going to do that all the way around. Here is the first round of my brim, and to do the next round, we're going to do an increase in every 13th stitch instead of every 12th. So just like for the top of the hat, for every new round of the brim, we're going to do another double crochet before the increase. And this applies for any size hat you do. So again, the second round of the brim, we're going to increase in every 13th stitch. And then for the third round, we're going to increase every 14th stitch, and then 15th and 16th for however long you want your brim to be. And here is my finished brim. I did 4 rounds, and once you're happy with the length, we can fasten off. And to fasten off, chain 1, and then we're going to cut our yarn about this long, and then pull through with your hook and tighten the knot. And the last thing to do is to weave in our loose ends. So let's grab our yarn needle and thread this loose end into the needle. And then we're going to flip it so we're on the inside of the hat, and we're going to hide it in our stitches. So first let's move our loose end up towards these stitches. So we're just going to go under these loops until we get to the bottom of our last round. So about right here. Then pull your yarn through. And then this last round, we can go under these loops at the bottom of the double crochets. So here, go under these loops. And we can go about this far, and then pull the yarn through. And then we can go up to another round. And then we're going to go back in the opposite direction under these loops. And we're just going to use up the rest of our loose end, so go as far as you can. And pull your yarns through. And then you can make sure it's not too tight and it's hidden. And we just need to do that for this one on the inside. And we're going to do the same thing, just go under any loops, and you can go back and forth in opposite directions to make it more secure. And once we've weaved in both of our loose ends, our bucket hat is finished. And that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And also you can join my channel to see videos up to a week early and also get a little badge next to your name whenever you comment. Also, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.